Alright, hello and welcome. Here we are with some bonus footage. Uh, gonna go ahead and keep this hand on the play, I think. It's not great, but if I don't draw a land, I guess it's kind of weird because there's a lot of decks where this Path to Exile is just dead. I wonder what the percentage of decks the Path to Exile is dead against. I mean, most fair decks have plenty of time to draw my second land, and if I don't draw my second land, I can just play a second noble, attack for 2, have some Path to Exiles. I'm going to try this hand. I think it's a bit risky, but, if I end up playing against a creature deck, the hand is really good, and I would snap it off. Let's go ahead and play a Noble Hierarch. Could have gotten a basic forest there, but I won't have the Temple Guard, and I have 2 paths in my hand, so it looks like we're playing against Ad Nauseam. Not the greatest hand against Ad Nauseam, but not bad either. If I draw, a land, I have access to Spell Queller, and if I draw a land, I can Knight. Looks like we don't get there on Knight, so I think I'm just going to play Noble Hierarch attack for 2. I could play Voice, but the problem with Voice is it doesn't really increase my clock by that much because I'm missing 2 damage this turn, and I really want to get the Knight in play. Get a big Knight, start attacking. Hopefully I can Spell Queller something relevant. It's kind of unfortunate that Spell Queller cannot actually hit. Guess we just play Knight here. I can attack for 2 tech, play Voice. I can play Voice and then Path it as well. Spell Queller can hit Angel's Grace or Ad Nauseam, which is certainly not exactly where you want to be. If he just does nothing this turn, I can flash in the Spell Queller. I don't really love my options here. Let's go ahead and just pass. I think he's going to know I have Spell Queller, but it can prevent him from playing something this turn. And if he does play something, like even a cantrip, we're just going to Spell Queller it. Because this slows him down by a turn. Like, this is a turn where he'd play like an Unlife or something. He might still have that, but I feel like playing the Knight, I feel like I'm better off trying to tag something with the Spell Queller and kind of mise a win here, because I'm definitely super far behind. Like, I'm really far from being able to kill him. If he's got every extra copy of Angel's Grace is going to be pretty insane. He just did miss the land drop there, which is kind of interesting. So maybe tagging that Serum Visions might work out. If we can pinch him on mana. Maybe like force him to go for a Unlife and then try to hit a Pride Mage. He might lose his Gemstone Mine too. He could just have it though. We'll see. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and Company in response. I'm going to get the Stomping Ground. Just because at this point in the game, like, his deck can't kill both my Noble Hierarchs. So I'm not worried about losing my blue mana. But if I can Coco into a Spell Queller, alright. I mean, not ideal because we're not hitting like a Knight or a Pride Mage, which is really what I wanted to hit. But I can't complain about the Spell Queller. Like, we could maybe just, if well, I guess he might be 1 mana short off combo. This doesn't increase my clock at all, which is why only hitting the Spell Queller is pretty awful. I'm going to attack with both, though, in case he has Slaughter Pact. I'm out of Disruption, which is unfortunate. I can play Knight. So, if I draw, I'm not even going to have lethal this next turn. He's going to play an Unlife. Okay, so what do I need to draw here? There's no way I can achieve lethal. I don't think. Which we want to get him to negative because that saves us a turn. Draw another Path to Exile. So if we get Gavney Township, no, that doesn't really do much. So I suppose what I do is I just attack with one of my spell quellers. Lotus Bloom's coming off next turn, I believe. Yeah, so if he's got an Ad Nauseam, we just lose. I guess, actually, what I should do is I should Knight for Horizon Canopy. Because we can draw a Spell Queller for the Lotus Bloom or a Pride Mage. But I should have done that before. I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to attack through the Unlife, but we're going to have to try to rip some form of interaction here. We draw a Misty. That's not going to do it. Guess we might as well just tap out and play our things. I don't really think holding up mana for bluffing like a Spell Queller is going to help me. I'm assuming at this point he just has an Ad Nauseam. He's played a bunch of cantrips. Sleight of Hand. All right, he might be missing might be missing it here. If I can draw Pride Mage, I can win this turn. Well, assuming he doesn't have Angel's Grace. I mean, we're at the point in the game where if he doesn't have an Ad Nauseam, he's pretty likely to have an Angel's Grace, which is pretty nice, I suppose. Black. Dispose of the Vault. Okay, well, that's game. He can't die because of Unlife. Yep. Alright. Going to game 2 here. We're on the play. We're going to go 2 Stony Silence, 2 Negate, Unified Will. I actually like an extra Ghost Quarter here because generally they only play 1 basic. It's not insane, but I think it's likely going to be better than Kessig Wolfrun. Like Gavney Township is just almost a better or the same Kessig Wolfrun. They don't have any removal, so I'm gonna have a bunch of creatures in play, mostly. I'm gonna cut the 2 Spell Skites. I don't love Scavenging Ooze is just a brick. Voice is also pretty much a brick. But so's Courser. Let's cut a Courser before we cut a Voice. Voice at least stops my opponent from like casting spoils on my turn. If he casts Angel's Grace on my turn, I get a token, which is not, I guess, that particularly relevant. But it could be if he goes like Angel's Grace into a Phyrexian Unlife. Because then we need to attack for a bunch of damage at once. I think that's okay. Spellskite is actually not terrible. It can disrupt Lightning Storm and like Slaughter Pact and Echoing Truth and stuff. Do they have 1 basic or do they have 2 basics? Maybe I don't want the Ghost Quarter. How often is the Kessig Wolfrun going to do anything, though? Not very often. Oh, I want to cut the paths. I don't know why I didn't cut the paths. I was like, this seems weird to me that I have choices. Normally, when I play against this deck, I don't have any choices at all. So I think we want the extra land, and I think we want. I don't want Scavenging Ooze for sure. So let's just go with Spellskite. We'll keep this hand. I don't know why I didn't cut the pass immediately. I just didn't. Luckily, I thought about it some more, and figured it out. Spellskite disrupts them a tiny bit. Like if you have a Spellskite in play, their Lightning Storm is once they pitch a bunch of lands, you can redirect to Spellskite. They can actually discard a land to choose a new target. So it's interesting. Because of that, I wonder if I'm supposed to. Normally, I would just fetch Shock against a deck like this, but since I have the Spellskite, it could actually be useful to have more life. Like if I have like 19 life, you know, I can redirect it to Spellskite 9 times, which means he's got a Lightning Storm. What is it? It's 3 plus. Every time you discard is 1 more. Or no, every time you discard is 2 more. I think. 3. I mean, I don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'll probably have Stony Silence in play anyway, which will make the Spellskite be shut down, but I think I'm just gonna fetch Shock. If I didn't have the Stony Silence, I think the play is to. I don't. I might need double blue at some point, but I have the Noble Hierarch. I think fetching for a forest is fine. I was going to say, if I didn't have the Stony, I definitely would fetch a forest, but. The old classic. I remember I used to play, what was the deck? I used to play blue, white, red control, like back early in Modern, before, like when I used to play in PTQs. And I remember against Affinity, I would always side in Spellskite and Stony Silence, and it was always pretty funny. Hoping to see a Pentad Prism. He doesn't have a Lotus Bloom. Like, the Stony Silence might not even do much this game. If he doesn't suspend a Lotus Bloom or play a Pentad Prism, okay, he put a Pentad Prism. I was going to say, I could probably just hold the Stony Silence because I have the Spellskite. But he looks like he played Pentad Prism. So, we're just going to hold the Spellskite in our hand. I don't think there's any reason to play it right now. I'd rather hold up Unified Will. Because if he plays something like a Phyrexian Unlife, I'm just going to counter it to buy. I don't want him to buy himself that much time. My clock is pretty low. But here's like the situation when I mean like Gavny versus Kessigwolf run. Alright, well this is working out nicely. Is that Gavny is almost always like a faster clock against a deck with no removal. I'm going to miss 1 damage here to hold up Spellskite. Well, actually, or to hold up Gavny Township. I could play Spellskite in anticipation of me playing Spellqueller this turn. I actually don't think it's very likely I'm going to play Spellqueller this turn. I am getting a little bit punished for fetching the forest, because now if I pump my birds, like I can't cast Spellqueller off of the mana I have. Yeah, that's going to be good enough to counter. It's the same thing as before, where I'm going to play this end of turn no matter what anyway, and I have the Gavny Township in play, so denying him card draw is good. He's pretty bottlenecked on mana right now. I'm not too worried about that. He could have like an Echoing Truth and combo me, but all that stuff is much more likely if I let like Sleight of Hand resolve and stuff like that. Next turn, attacking for 4. Let's think about this. I'm probably not going to play the Spellskite. Probably. We should actually pay attention to how he does the Serum Visions here. Because if he tops something, like, he might actually have a window to combo me. Essentially, if he draws an Echoing Truth, he gets the 2 mana back right away. Though I guess it doesn't really do anything at all in particular, because he doesn't have a Lotus Bloom or anything like that right now. So let me just think about Spellskite. So I'm at 19 life, which means he's got to pitch 8 lands. That's 16 damage plus 3. He's got to pitch 8 lands to Lightning Storm me for 19. He went top spoils. Okay, that makes sense. Because I have the Selfless Spirit, if he draws his whole deck and has a Slaughter Pact, I can protect the Spellskite, which is interesting. Slaughter Pact is the reason I just realized that I don't love Spellskite here, but I have the Selfless Spirit. What did he reveal? He revealed a Seachrome Coast. Okay. Just gotta pitch 8 lands to kill me. That'll mean he's got 4. Deck plays like 20 lands. 4 plus 8, that's 12 lands. So he'll have 8. He'll have 8 left. And I can pay 16 life. I think it is right to play the Spellskite. Though the pump, it's kind of like a domino effect. Like if I pump this turn, next turn I can just play Spellskite plus Noble Hierarch. And I get in 2 more damage. I don't think he's very likely to... Well, he could combo me next turn. If he's got a Simian Spirit Guide, I just lose if I don't play the... If he's got, like, a black land and Simian Spirit Guide. That's a lot to ask, but he did go top. Like, obviously he spoils for the Seachrome Coast, but he did top a card. So he could technically go for the win next turn if he's got exactly black land, Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam, Simian Spirit Guide. I mean, he's got 5 cards. He needs 4 exact cards. Let's think about the clock, I guess. If I pump, that's 6, puts him to 8. And then next turn I have 8. So he's just actually forced to do something next turn. Wow. It's a really tough call. Really tough call here. Playing 2 creatures actually... Wait, if I play 2 creatures, he goes to 10. Next turn I Gavany, 6, 7, 8. Nope. Ugh. It's really gross. I'm just trying to think. Can he beat the Selfless Spirit Spellskite? Like... When I'm at 19, if he only has 20 lands in his deck, he's got to pitch 8 of them, and then I can pay 8 life. I can pay life 9 times after that, and he only has 8 lands left. And if he plays a land, he only has 7 lands left. So I think the math actually works out that he can't kill me, which is kind of ridiculous. So I think I am just going to play the Spellskite. I don't know. It's weird. I don't have enough damage to, like... The problem is if he could have very likely just topped a card like... Yeah, no, this was just wrong, right? Because he has to bounce the Stony Silence in order for it to work. Which I keep thinking about, but he's just not going to bounce the Stony Silence if he goes off here. He's just going to leave it in play. Well, he's got a Lotus Bloom now, so maybe he will, but... Ooh, speaking of will... That might have sealed the game. So even if I would have had lethal this turn, I would have not. It ended up not mattering because I wouldn't have tapped out for lethal, I don't think. Oh god, this is pretty greedy. Now I wish I Gavinied. I think I just let that resolve. Simian Spirit Guide's the first card. Okay, he's dead. So definitely sloppy. Forgot about my own interaction there. For some reason in my mind, I was like, he's gonna bounce. He has to bounce the Stony Sounds, but he didn't. He could have killed me. If 4 of his 5 cards were the perfect cards, I would have died. I don't really like Spellskite that much. Maybe just Grizzly Bear is better. It's kind of tough to say. Like, he's going to have 1 Slaughter Pact, which I can protect my Spell Quellers from it. He's going to have Echoing Truth for Stony Sounds, which doesn't actually work with Spellskite, but if he bounces the Stony Sounds, then, like, I have this weird window where if I have a Selfless Spirit, I don't lose, but so I'm trying to play Stony, I just don't. Oh, it's just so gross. I think I just don't want Spellskite at all. I don't know. Some ad nauseam expert can tell me. I know that it doesn't do much, but like, how good is Grizzly Bear? Like, it just seems so bad to me. I'm already playing an extra land. Like, I could put Bajuka Bog in as an extra land, but it's just such a bad extra land that I think I'd rather have a Grizzly Bear, honestly. Guess we're just playing Grizzly Bear. I guess Spellskite, if you have 2 Spellskites, like, that can be pretty annoying for them. They have Echoing Truth, but, like, if they go off, they probably don't have enough mana to Echoing Truth that turn. I don't know. I should just stop talking about it. I think the Spellskite is just mostly unplayable. In this matchup, I have no idea why I had it in or planned on playing it or what. Okay. This hand's pretty solid. Have a ton of disruption. This hand would be really insane on the play, obviously. I mean, I guess that's how Modern works, right? He's starting on a Gemstone Mine Lotus Bloom, which actually I think is pretty good for me. I'm going to save the fetch because I have Tireless Tracker. Because I have the Stony Silence, so... Oh, he's got double Lotus Bloom. Interesting. Ooh. I like where this is going. I even have a Unified Will to, like, counter a potential Echoing Truth. We're going to play Tracker, get our beatdown on. Next turn I can go Stony before the Lotus Blooms resolve. Hopefully he doesn't rip a land off this, because I want to make sure that, like, Echoing Truth like, if he doesn't have a second land, he can't even cast the Echoing Truth off double Stony. Our hand's really good, though, because even if he gets through the Stony and the Unified Will, I have a company. Oh, Boseiju. That's super gross. That is super gross. But it also deals him a ton of damage. Like, it's not the best land he could have here. That's for sure. If he doesn't do anything, I can also just crack Clue. Oh, I can't crack Clue. That's super embarrassing. Super embarrassing. I should have cracked. Well, no, this is fine. I don't need the clues. I think holding Unified Will one of these Lotus Blooms is just better. I think. Because even if he bounces my Stony Silence, then I have, like, Company up. I'm worried about dying this turn if I don't counter one of these. I guess he can, like, play a land. What do they do with the scrying? He went bottom top, so like the card he's drawing is probably a land. He can go like Echoing Truth, your Stony Silence, off of Boseiju. I guess, well, I can just counter it. I can just counter the Ad Nauseam then. So yeah, I think, well, I can counter the Ad Nauseam. I can counter, like, he can't resolve both an Echoing Truth and an Ad Nauseam. But countering a Lotus Bloom just seems fine. I think I just let him all resolve. Well, do I? I just don't want to be sinkholed on mana for the rest of the game. But I think it's reasonable. I don't know. The problem is he very likely just passes here. And then, like, my mana is not being utilized very well. So maybe I should have cracked Clue. Increase my clock. Draw into more stuff. I can also try, if he Boseijus an Echoing Truth, I can try to get a Spell Queller here. Spell Queller actually beats Boseiju because Spell Queller exiles. Alright. So he missed a land, but then he played one. If he has an Echoing Truth and I'm just dead, if he has Echoing Truth plus Angel's Grace and Ad Nauseam, but I can't not try to put pressure on him here. Courser, Knight, Spell Queller. I guess there's no reason to take the Spell Queller. Ooh, Negate on top? That's pretty good. Ghost Quarter. Interesting. So I can Ghost Quarter the Boseiju. I have another Ghost Quarter in my deck as well. This is I didn't even realize this non-bow. I've seen this before at some point. Clue plus Stony Silence. I think in like a Thraben Inspector mono white aggro deck. Forest on top. I think I'm supposed to Ghost Quarter the Boseiju. Like, this deck might have one more basic. Since I have 2 counter spells, I think it has to be right to do this. I don't need the extra mana. Like, I could play a Birds this turn, and this is going to be his last basic, and I can Ghost Quarter the island. Next turn? Or do I do it now? I don't want to lose the mana. I want to have double counterspell up. But I also kind of want to put him on a 2-turn clock. So maybe we just attack with everything. Or I can play my Noble Hierarch and Ghost Quarter the island. I don't think... Now that... Well, I guess some Pact and Negation shenanigans could happen next turn. Though I just don't think he has... Well, if he had Truth, he would have casted assuming he had combo. So it's possible he just doesn't... Either doesn't have the Truth or doesn't have the combo. I can also just hold back the Knight to Ghost Quarter end of turn. Which isn't bad, but then I'm not getting my Noble Hierarch in play. 5. I don't know. I think attacking just has to be right. It puts him on a 2-turn clock. Ghost Quarter only cuts him off 1 mana. He's got plenty of mana, assuming he gets these Lotus Blooms online, which is like the only way he can win. But I'm in a spot where I get to pick my fight. Like I can just let him resolve Echoing Truth on the Stony Silence. I have 2 counter spells up. You know, I'm in a spot where I can just counter his combo and replay the Stony Silence. So I don't really know. The only good thing about Ghost Courting is this: like if he like has cantrips, then he has to use his Gemstone Mine. But we're at the point where I just don't think cantrips are gonna do anything. Like because this turn, you know, I have a land on top, the forest, so I can. Well, I guess it doesn't change. I can still sack. I can play the land. I can still sack a land and Ghost Quarter him and have both counter spells up basically. Um. So let's go ahead and attack with these two guys. I guess I should play the forest first. I mean, the life gain is so irrelevant. This play, if he's got like a Slaughter Pact, he's actually just dead if he has a Slaughter Pact. Because I have Knight. I was going to say Slaughter Pact is awkward here to not attack with Knight. But I think he's just dead because we kill the Gemstone Mine. And he loses, which is pretty hilarious. I was going to say land first to gain life, but he killed the tracker instead. Maybe I should have fetched first because I could have had a land on top, but I'm pretty sure that there's 0 outs to this. Because it's not like he can Pact Negation the Ghost Quarter. Did I put it in, right? Yeah. Second Ghost Quarter has done a lot of work since I added it. Not like I needed it this game. I think I just had him. But Stony Silence is a great card. He just didn't find one of his 2 Echoing Truths. I don't know if it would have mattered, but I guess he also kept a 1-lander with double Lotus Bloom, which I think you do every time. You know, how many Stonies do I have, too? If he goes for like an Echoing Truth on my Stony Silence, I wonder if I just let it resolve. I guess I just counter it. I keep saying Echoing Truth, but at this point I'm pretty sure he just doesn't have it. I guess, like I said before, though, he might have it without the combo or whatever. He can Angel's Grace on his upkeep to not die to the Slaughter Pact, but then he's dead to my creatures. At least that's the plan. I almost want to take a screenshot of. I want to get like more clues in play. You know, like fetch a bunch with the Knight. I guess the Tyler Stracker's dead, but I should have. I guess I should have fetched. I should have done this in response to him killing my Tyler Stracker to get the extra clue. And that's his only Slaughter Pact. I mean, so he's gonna have to like play an Angel's Grace here and then also play another Angel's Grace. Maybe it was right to just attack with all my creatures last turn. If he Angel's Grace, though, he goes to 1. Yeah, I mean, I think what I did was best. Yeah, he's just dead. Sweet. Didn't think I was going to win that match after dropping game 1 so easily, but drew our sideboard cards in game 2.